Hey everyone, it's Boogeyman Ben. Hope everyone's doing well and everyone's having a nice weekend. This video is going to be for YouTuber Michael Vorhees. He asked me to do a video series rating all of the films in the Halloween franchise. This is going to be very similar to a video that I did for Arkham Knight 84, another YouTuber. I did a video back in, I'm going to say July of this year, where I rated all of the Friday the 13th films. So I went through all 12, including Freddy vs. Jason. So it was 12 films. This will be 10 films in the Halloween franchise, and I'm going to just do this straight through. No cuts, no edits, no nothing. Just going to... Now, I've done a retrospective on this series just like I did on Friday the 13th, but this is going to be just giving a few pointers on each film and giving it a ratings out of my 1 to 10 scale. So, hope everyone enjoys this. Michael Vorhees, this is for you, and I hope you enjoy this video. So starting right off, we are going to start off with the original, the classic, the one and only John Carpenter's Halloween. Easily this film is a 10 out of 10. Love this film. This film is still scary to this day. I don't care what some people say. It's the atmosphere, the music, the acting, Donald Pleasance, Jamie Lee Curtis, PJ Soles, Charles Cyphers, Nancy Loomis. You got a terrific cast, excellent direction and writing by John Carpenter, and of course his partner Deborah Hill, who produced and also helped write it. I still think this film is atmospheric. It's still scary. It's a simple story, and I just really love this film. There's nothing bad you can say about it. Easily one of the best horror films ever made, and one of the Halloween season staples for movie watching. Just absolutely love this film. Terrific film. 10 out of 10 for John Carpenter's Halloween. Now, Halloween 2, I love just as much as the original. I've said it many times. I think it's an underrated sequel. I think it gets crapped on a lot for some stupid fucking reason, but I've always loved this film. One of the amazing aspects of it is that it picks up right where the original left off. So it's almost like these two films are one story, and I always like that. But absolutely love this film. I'm glad that Scream Factory put this special edition out. There's a lot of great features on this, but 10 out of 10 for Halloween 2. Absolutely love it. Terrific performances in it from Lance Guest, Donald Pleasance, Jamie Lee Curtis, Leo Rossi. Just a tremendous cast and an excellent story, and I think Rick Rosenthal did a great job. Also, one thing I wanted to mention is I'm a big fan of Nick Castle in the original Halloween, as well as Tony Moran, and I think Tommy Lee Wallace also played him, but everybody associates the original Halloween with Nick Castle playing the Shape. In this one, I think Dick Warlock is 1,000 times scarier. That's just my opinion. I still think Nick Castle does a tremendous job in the role, but for my money, Dick Warlock will always be the best Michael Myers and the scariest. So just my opinion, but I absolutely love Halloween 2, 10 out of 10. Next, we were on to Halloween 3. Now, I did a video recently where I said that I kind of put my ego, not my ego in check, but I about 2 years ago I said that I would never own this film and never watch this film again because I wasn't happy with it. And I gave it a second chance. I picked up the Scream Factory release. I didn't get the sleeve with it. They didn't have it when I bought it, which sucks, but I have the film, and I have warmed up to Halloween 3. Not my favorite in the series, and I never liked the fact that it broke off from the Michael Myers storyline, but what they were trying to do is they were trying to do something different every year after the first 2 Halloween films, because that itself could have been one story if they had never decided to do any more sequels, and then every year they would do a different themed Halloween horror film. So on that note, I understand what they were trying to do. This film has grown on me. When I did my review of it back in, I believe this summer, it was like late July, early August, I said I gave it an 8.5 out of 10, and I stand by that. Watching it again and watching it with my wife, we actually really enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun with this film, and I take back what I said, that I would never own it and never watch it again. I gave it a second chance, or a third chance actually, and ended up enjoying it. So yeah, fun little film. Next, we were on to Halloween 4, which is a sequel that came out 10 years after the original. Absolutely love this film. It's my third favorite in the series, after Halloween's 1 and 2. I think Alan B. McElroy wrote a great screenplay. I think Dwight Little did a tremendous job at directing it, and I also love that Donald Pleasance came back to play Dr. Loomis. For me, he is the Halloween staple. I just love that character, and I love I love Donald Pleasance as an actor, and I also love Ellie Cornell as Rachel, and of course, who cannot say enough good things about Danielle Harris as Jamie Lloyd. She is just terrific in this, and I also think George Wilbur was a very menacing Michael Myers. He was very much a bigger Michael Myers. I think they were going more in the vein of Jason to make him a much bigger character, whereas in the first two, Dick Warlock and Nick Castle were just average sized guys. But here they wanted to make him a very imposing force, especially since he's going after his 10-year-old niece. But yeah, I love this fucking film. I saw it in the movie theater when it came out in 1988 when I was a freshman in high school, and I have always loved it. And I give it a 10 out of 10. Absolutely love this film. And now we're on to Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Not my favorite in the Halloween franchise. I didn't like some of the story arcs that happened in this one. I didn't like the dispatching of Rachel so early in the story. Was not a big fan of the Tina character or the Sam and Spitz characters, who kind of make up the teenager aspect of the middle part of the story. I thought they were very irritating. I did think that Don Shanks was a very scary Michael Myers. I actually thought he was scarier than George Wilbur. Of course, Danielle Harris was amazing in this, as was Donald Pleasance, returning again for his fourth run as Dr. Loomis. But Dominique Athéna-Gerard and the screenplay, who wrote the screenplay here? Michael Jacobs and Dominique Athéna-Gerard and Shem Bitterman. I didn't like the story angles that they did with this. I didn't like some of the characteristics that Dr. Loomis had in them. I thought they were a little bit too much. Dr. Loomis is always a good man. Yes, he was obsessed, but I think they made him a little bit too big in this, and I think Donald Pleasance did a great job working with what he had. The other problem I have with this is the Myers house, and this is like this big gothic mansion that they have the final showdown in. I thought it was ridiculous. The Myers house was a small house. It was just a small little house. They should have had the showdown somewhere else, or just had it in a smaller version of the Myers house, or a normal version of the Myers house like in the other films. So yeah, other than that, I don't really have too big of a problem with this film. My rating system here. If I had to give this one a rating, I'm going to give it a 7.5. Not horrible, not great, not my favorite, but still enjoy watching it. And like I said, Danielle Harris and Donald Pleasance are amazing in this. So yeah, it's okay film. Now we're on to Halloween 6. I have two versions of this. One I bought with this combo pack with Mother's Boys, Age 20, and Resurrection. And then I have the producer's cut, the infamous producer's cut. Now, with the director's cut, I am going to give it a 7. Not a big fan of it. I don't like how choppy it is. I also didn't like the fact that Donald Pleasance's character, Dr. Loomis, which this was his final role, he passed away shortly after filming this, was severely cut down. I also didn't like the fact that they didn't have Jamie Lloyd's character played by the amazing Danielle Harris. They had J.C. Brady, I think was her name. She's okay in the role, but I didn't like what happened to the character in the director's cut. Just just what a horrible death for such a beloved character. Also didn't like just some of the it was just very choppy, and some of the acting is very bad. I thought Paul Rudd was good as Tommy Doyle. He did a great job in this. And I thought Joe Chappelle was an okay director, just not really that great. He wasn't a big fan of the Dr. Loomis character, and that's why it was cut down severely, and that pisses me off. Now, the producer's cut, on the other hand, and also I want to say Daniel Farrens wrote a great screenplay. I've actually read the screenplay, and the producer's cut, even though it's not 100% his screenplay, it is a much better adaptation. It's not so choppy. There's more Dr. Loomis in it. There's more Dr. Wynn in it. I thought that was very strong. You find out who the Man in Black is, which was established in Halloween 5. And I really just think they could have they should have released this version of the film, but they cut it, they changed the ending because Donald Pleasance passed away and they couldn't use Dr. Loomis in the next film. But this ending would have been so much more interesting to see where they went in a Halloween 7. So yeah, with this film, I'd give this one a 9. I really love the producer's cut of Halloween 6, and it's a much better film than the director's version. If you get a chance to pick one of these copies up on eBay, do it. I'm hoping that one day Dimension will release this film on official Blu-ray or DVD. Next we are on to Halloween Age 20. This would come out 20 years after the original. This brings back Jamie Lee Curtis, who in Halloween 4 it is said that the Laurie Strode character has died, and her daughter Jamie Lloyd was adopted by the Carruthers family. Now in this film, they completely cut out Halloweens 4, 5, and 6. They didn't happen. This is a direct sequel to Halloween 2, which pissed me off. Not gonna lie, it pissed me off because I love those other films. Even with their, even with some of their inconsistencies, I still love them. But I do like Halloween H20. I think it was great to have Jamie Lee Curtis come back. I thought Josh Hartnett was really good in it. LL Cool J was really good in it. I loved seeing Janet Leigh in it in a cameo role. And I also thought that Chris Duran did a good job as playing Michael Myers. But breaking it off from out of the timeline of 4, 5, and 6 and saying that they never existed kind of pissed me off, and I thought it was a cop-out, and I wish they wouldn't have done that. I still try to pretend that this is actually in that timeline, but obviously it can't be based on some of the things that have happened in the other films. But yeah, I would give this film a 9.5 out of 10. That's the only kind of mark against it. The other thing it was interesting is this is the only film that doesn't take place in Haddonfield. This actually takes place in California. But I thought that the private school setting was actually really interesting. And again, Jamie Lee Curtis's showdown again. Or her performance again is great, and the showdown with her and Michael Myers at the end is just fantastic. Worth the price of admission just for that. So yeah, it's a good little film. Now we are on to Halloween Resurrection. A lot of people hate this film. I don't hate it. If I had to give it a rating, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I actually kind of enjoy it. The thing that pisses me off about it is that, sorry if this is spoilers for people who haven't seen it, but the fact that the Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode character is killed at the beginning of the film by Michael Myers, and it's never mentioned again throughout the entire film. This is like the most important character next to Michael Myers and Dr. Loomis being dispatched 15 minutes into the movie, and no one says anything about it ever again. And it just pissed me off because it was such a big thing bringing her back for H20 and then to just sort of kill her off and not say a thing about her and introduce this new cast. Just not really a big fan of it. Busta Rhymes doesn't bother me in this film. I know a lot of people have a problem with him and saying trick or treat motherfucker and fighting Michael Myers, karate chopping and stuff. And it was silly, but that's who Busta Rhymes is. He's always been kind of over the top in that way. But I did think Sean Patrick Thomas was really good in this film, and I had a lot of fun with this film. It's not great, it's not horrible. I mean, I thought it was kind of interesting, the Dangertainment kind of video, like almost like ghostly encounters, those kind of reality shows where they're going through like a spooky house or something like that and broadcasting. It was kind of new. So yeah, I mean, it was interesting. Not my favorite, not horrible. I enjoy it. Now we are on to the Rob Zombie era. The remake would come out in 2007. Directed and written by Rob Zombie, starring Scout Taylor Compton. You had Malcolm McDowell. Let's see, you had William Forsythe, Danielle Harris, which is awesome that they brought her into this. Brad Dourif, huge fan of him, and Tyler Mane as Michael Myers. I actually really like this film. A lot of people shit on it because, of course, Rob Zombie's style, but I think he did a great job directing and writing this film. He brought new elements to the series. He made it a little bit darker in tone. Yes, there's a lot of swearing, a lot of sex, a lot of violence in this. There's much more over-the-top violence than the other films, but I think it works. I like Rob Zombie. If I had to give this movie a rating, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I think it's great. I liked Malcolm McDowell as Dr. Loomis. Very different, but I was glad to see the Loomis character come back into the series because I think H20 and Halloween Resurrection suffered because there was no Loomis character in it. So yeah, nice little film. I thought it was interesting, very different. I saw it twice in the movie theater. Really enjoyed it. And now we are on to Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's follow-up to his remake. I fucking love this film. I don't care what people say about it that don't like it, that don't like the spiritual elements to it. They don't like the way that he directed it. They don't like the darkness to it, the way that Scout Taylor Compton's Laurie character changes from part 1 to part 2. I do think the director's cut is the stronger version, but I do own the theatrical cut as well. I like both just the same. They're just two different versions in terms of some of the elements and the way that they end. Halloween 2 gets a 10 out of me from me. I've always loved this film. I don't care what people say. I think Brad Dourif is tremendous in this film. I think Danielle Harris is tremendous in this film. Both of them are my favorite elements of the film. They're just awesome. But Tyler Mane does a great job as Michael Myers. You also see a very different version of Dr. Loomis played by Malcolm McDowell, who does a terrific job in this film. And I really don't get the hate for this film. I think it's amazing. And I wish that Rob Zombie could have done more of these. I actually think he did a good job on this film. Excellent film. My second favorite film of his next to Lords of Salem. So just excellent film. And that's it. That's my reviews or my ratings for the Halloween films. Michael Vorhees, I hope you enjoyed this. And stay tuned where I will be doing another video where I will be talking about all of the Nightmare on Elm Street films and giving them ratings as well. So I hope everyone enjoyed this, and stay tuned for more videos. Take it easy. Peace.